Welcome back. In our previous class, we have looked at the theory of change, and also we have looked at conceptual framework, which gives the general overview of the relationship between the factors in getting our result. In this class, we are going to look at result framework, which is mostly used by USAID sponsored program. So when you look at the term itself, result framework, so there is very simple interaction of our result. We are just going to discuss how short-term result, that is output, will interact with long-term result, that is outcome. So how small result leads to one big result, then lead to the ambitious result of the entire objective, which is the goal. So the result framework visually represents the goal and objective, just as we have said. It draws the overarching approach to achieving the change in the theory of change to describe the specific result and sub-result. From the theory of change, which involves the activities that lead to short-term, that lead to long-term result, then that leads to the entire ambitious general goal of the project. Sorry. We are having now the result, how this result interacts and lead to the global result. Result framework can also be called strategic framework. And you also have to understand these terms in the project management, project design, and monitoring and evaluation, because different bodies, organizations use them interchangeably. All right. A result framework identifies the ultimate goals, that is the overall general goal of the project or of the intervention. Major intermediate result, so you are going to have intermediate result, which leads to, of course, the general or ultimate goal. Then you are going to have subordinate intermediate result, which is below the intermediate result, which can be many of them, leading to the same intermediate result. Result framework are common in USAID funded proposals, just as I've mentioned. All right. Use of visual result framework to clearly explain how proposed intermediate result achieved by the planned activities will support the achievement of the goal and objective, and will illustrate the causal relationship linking all levels. So what we are saying simply in this statement is that we are looking at the activities which leads to intermediate result, which leads to intermediate results, and then which lead to strategic objective, which leads to the general project goal. Results framework are the type of framework used by USAID in what is called performance monitoring plans, PMPs. So when you are designing, for example, a proposal for USAID funded project, you have to remember they call it performance monitoring plans, and mostly they'll ask you, of course you are going to find it in your solicitation document, but what they are going to look for is your result framework. All right, so how does it look? Visual representation of result framework. Actually, this should be result framework. Let me correct it here. Result framework. You will going to have the overall goal. You will going to have a strategic objective, and then you are going to have intermediate results. So you can have intermediate result 1, intermediate result 2, result 3, result 4, and so on. So under each intermediate results, you are going to have sub intermediate result or subordinate intermediate result, which can be, for example, for intermediate result 1, you can have intermediate result 1.1, intermediate result 1.2, intermediate result 1.3, right? All these errors. So what we are meaning here is intermediate result 1.1 means subordinate of intermediate result 1. All right. Great. As can be seen above, result framework include overall goal. It includes strategic objective, which we are going to call it SO. We are going to have intermediate result, IRS, and we have sub-intermediate result, which are subordinate intermediate results. In SO, an SO is the outcome that is most ambitious result that can be achieved and for which organization will be willing to be held responsible. So it is the one that we want to, for example, like we want to minimize the number of crime rate among the youth. That is an ambitious result, and that we want to be held responsible. Or we want to reduce number of unemployment among the youths. That is an ambitious result, right? Under IRS, we have subordinate intermediate result that we have just discussed. All right, let's look at an example. A result framework has causal leakages, where result flows from bottom to up, just like the one we are having with, theory of change. This logical relationship of result is the way of showing what result you expect if theory of change holds true. Remember, we are growing from theory of change. Then we go to the result framework, right? See how theory of change relates to result framework below. So, for example, if we do this, if we increase teachers trained on curriculum delivery, so this is for, we are going to improve classroom interactions. So this is subordinate of intermediate result, and this is again subordinate of intermediate result. So when we increase or teachers trained on curriculum delivery, this is a result. We are going to have improved classroom instruction, which will lead to improved literacy outcome, which will, again, the biggest goal that we want to achieve is improved employability among youth. Again, you can have another result here. Increased availability of appropriate textbook, which will lead to improved learning methods and resources for students, which again further leads to improved literacy. So like for one strategic objective, we can have many intermediate results and then so many sub-intermediate results. All right, great. Another example, you can see, for example, for improving health status of our population, we want to improve use of health services. Then for us to improve health services, we have to improve accessibility